Yeah, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Black Trey from Your Anime, Your Gaming, Your Network. Bring you another one, man. So we got a new video for y'all. But first things first, I need you guys to hit the like button, subscribe, check us out. We're going to be going through some new animes that's coming out. Want to dip my feet into this new genre. We're going to see what it is. So I came across this new anime. It's called Sinduality Noir. We're going to be doing a review of episode 1. Now, here's the premise. So the overview, the year is 2222. It has been years since the tears of the new moon. A mysterious rain poured and wiped out almost all of the entire human race. The poisonous rain gave birth to deformed creatures devouring humans, and humanity fled from the danger. As a means for survival, the humans then built an underground haven, Amasia. In this newly built dystopian city, in a pursuit of maintaining their existence, they run into an artificial intelligence named Magus. So these Magus, they're like droids. Not knowing how things will work between them, the story of how humans and AI coinciding and trying to find their truth begins. Their truth begins. Well, I don't like that. I like the truth. How about they find the truth? You feel me? All right, but we got producer Yusuke Yamamoto, script by Takashi Aoshima and Hajime Kamoshida. All right, so the main cast, we have Noir, is voiced by Ayo Koga. I think that's Ayo or AOI. All right, so I'd go Ayo Koga. All right, so this is Rakuto Kamada from Demon Slayer and Ino from Xenoblade Chronicles. That's famous roles that she's played. Then we have Tokyo, one of the main characters. It's by Yusuke Kabayashi. So this is Senku Ishigami from Dr. Stone. I believe that's the main guy. Yamada Ezmon from Hell's Paradise. I think that's the big brute guy with the sword. I think he cuts his hand off. No spoilers. Keizo from Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush and Royd Lloyd from Bleach, which I don't think he had a big role in Bleach. All right, then we have Kanata, the other main character. He's the male voice in Street Fighter 6 for your custom character when you're going. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Takeo Otsuka. He's the male character for Street Fighter 6. Hikaru Sudo in the Gene of AI, and Joshua Rossfield, I guess in the Japanese version of Final Fantasy 16. That's dope. All right, so let's see. So episode 1, bam, it's called My Name Is. So it starts off in an ancient vault. There's two main characters, Tokyo and Kanata, and they've just finished exploring. They found a major hall. Kanata comes across an android called a Magus. Seems to be from before the tears of the new moon, which is, I guess, the end of the world prophecy that they had going on. So they get attacked by monsters. Tokyo calls his android, Magus, to send his mech, which they called in this world a coffin. The monsters summon drones called tripods. So Kanata decides to retrieve the Magus android, and Tokyo covers him while in his coffin, while Kanata loads the android into their carrier. It's like a truck for extraction. So Tokyo, he's in his mech. He's like shooting down all these creatures, and Kanata, he's loading her up. So Tokyo's Magus Muton, that's his android, tells him that they're out of home and ammunition, so he uses the last of his rockets to blow up like all the enemies, because they don't want to bring these enemy creatures back to the dome where they live. They destroy all the drones and they make their way back to the city. They notice that the android is in a deep sleep as they're driving back. As they enter the dome, Tokyo and Kanata, they go to the market where they decide to sell their treasure. Here we meet Michael, leader of the defense force. I think they call him Adventure, and it's Tokyo's rival. So these two have a real love-hate relationship, to the point that other characters in the series, they're asking like, yo, are they rivals? Are they friends or enemies? Nobody knows. It's pretty funny. All right, well, Tokyo gets paid and invites everybody around to go to the bar for drinks, which is kind of funny because they both were doing their thing. And I guess we'll find out later on that Tokyo, he's a drifter, what they call it. So he goes out and he's certified to go out and hunt for treasure, while Kanata is just like under his wing. So technically, Kanata really doesn't have a say in anything. So even when Kanata tells him like, yo, you should save money, he does what he wants anyway. All right, even though they both went on a mission, he spends all the money. So Tokyo ends up spending all the money, which is funny. So they have like nothing. So Kanata brings the Magus back to the base for analysis. He hits the button like at the base of her neck and her clothes disappear. So he's like embarrassed. He jumps back with shock, and then someone arrives. The scene changes over to Tokyo with partying with some ladies. He's ordering alcohol, tons of sushi. He's just living it up. The bartender asks Tokyo where Kanata is, and he says he's probably becoming a man with the android, which is kind of weird because
bro, what are you talking about, man?
In this world, like people get, I guess they get, they do their thing with these androids, which is kind of weird, but
not gonna be
able
able
what's
to
happening,
do it.
but it becomes like the running joke for like the next few episodes. All right, so we switch back to Kanata, and a pink-haired girl comes into the base with her android and asks Kanata why he lets Tokyo spend all the money. Kanata said it's no use trying to stop him. She tells Kanata there's no future sticking with Tokyo. He should join Adventure Force so he can get his own Magus/android, and he would get the most up-to-date coffin. But, there's reasons behind why he does not join up. She asked him if he wants to be a drifter, but he said he isn't good enough, as he's not as good as she is. Then the pink-haired girl, she runs to the back and sees like the naked Magus, like her android, for no reason apparently, just because they need it to happen. Runs to the back. She sees the android laid out naked, and she screams. So the pink-haired girl, she runs back there and she screams, and it's just this whole big thing. And now they're looking at him. You know what I mean? Like, this is just like what Tokyo said, like he was having his way with the android, which, wasn't the case. He's just trying to figure out what's going on. So she runs off, and then when it wakes up, the Magus, and it says, next time I'll take you to paradise. So that doesn't, even then, that still doesn't look good for his case. So I was just like, yo, he can't catch a break on this one. So you like stuck with that reputation, and you ain't even do nothing, you know what I mean? So that's kind of messed up. But we find that the pink-haired girl, her name is Ellie, and she storms off. She's clearly jealous, she likes Kanata, but I guess in a lot of these animes, they don't seem to know the male protagonist like never knows what's going on, never like gets the girl, or never will like, they were like childhood friends or whatever. So Kanata introduces himself to the Magus. Then we cut to the scene with these two. I'm not sure if they're both human or what. I can't tell. But these two observers that basically watch the road. They're like the lookouts. So the weather report will usually say like when the weather's bad, then you get like ender attacks, which is those creatures they attack. But it's like clear skies. So usually when there's clear skies, there's no attack. So. The drifters, they can explore with no issues. That's what the report says. Then we cut to the two observers who watch the road for trouble. Kanata allows the Magus to take a shower, clean up, and gets her some clothes. And then so she's all dressed, and then he gives her she picks up like Tokyo's jacket. Just like oversized, so it's like falling off her, but that's how she likes to walk around. Kanata realizes she has amnesia. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what she is. She doesn't know anything. So he tells her they're in Rocktown, which is the name of the city, and she starts asking about her questions. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? What's a washing machine? What's that? What's this? And she just doesn't know anything. So he's just like, it's kind of weird. He tells her that he's a historian, so he likes the past. He's like looking, every time they go explore, he finds relics of the past, because at some point he wants to go to History or something like that. It's a city in the past. It's like a legendary city that people don't believe exists. But there was a history in the past of things happening. So you know. At some point, you know, the way anime works, it's probably his actual city, but you never know. All right, but right now it's just an urban legend. Switch back to Tokyo, and Michael having a drinking contest. So they're like all drunk. They're like super drunk, can barely stand. It's actually pretty funny. The winner, they said, is gonna get the right to profess the love to Maria, which she's the master tinkerer. Kanata decides to take the Magus to Maria because she's an expert android. She's an expert tinkerer. So she has like she has like, I think like 4 or 5 Magus. So she was like 3 assistants that just walk around with her, and then she has like a whole bunch of them just all over her place, just like doing odds and ends. So she's like the #1 person with knowledge. She knows the most about the Magus. So he takes her there. As they're driving in the truck, she fires off a missile that like flies past the truck and like explodes behind them, and like he's like, yo, what the heck? So his android, Kanata's android, she's like, what was that? And he's like, that's her way of saying hello to us. So at this point we find out that Maria is Ellie's sister. You know, they don't state who's older, I'm not sure, and they look around the same age, so you can't really tell. Just based on like the feeling I got, I felt like Maria may be a little bit older, but don't quote me on it. You know, anime is kind of weird, so you can never tell unless they actually say it. So we'll see. So basically at this point, Maria makes a joke that, you know, Kanata's having his way with the Magus, and it's funny because like not that much time has passed. So how has this rumor like spread so quickly? It makes no sense. So in this world, you can see that, you know what I mean, it's the end of the world, and when there's something to talk about, it gets around very quickly. So Kanata explains that she has no memory. She's basically useless. She's not strong. She can't do anything. And he just wants to have her evaluated because she doesn't know what the heck is going on. So Maria, she has all her assistants, and they look her over. So they're like, everything seems normal. You know, there's nothing wrong with her. Just then, at this point, the Enders attack the Dome City. So this character named Ma'am, I guess she may be the leader of the adventure crew or something, because like she mobilizes the forces to everybody get in your mechs and start to defend the city. So you see all these mechs, all these coffins spring into action. Everybody's heading towards, you know, heading towards the front, you know what I mean, to defend the city. You have some that are outside the city, some are inside the city. But it's funny because Michael's Magus, he gives him like this device that goes over his eyes that takes away the drunk immediately, which is actually pretty cool technology. But it's 2222, so at that point I'm sure technology would have gotten to a point probably before the end of the fall where it was like, you know, there was pretty dope advancements. But usually in a lot of stories like this, a lot of times it's the technology that gets so far advanced that it ends up destroying like everything that you've built. So, you know, even in this day and age, we may be heading into something like that too, because now people are opening Pandora's box into a lot of stuff. Like science is progressing really far into the future, and just like weapons of mass destruction are really like out there. So these weapons are just getting more and more high tech. So before you know it, we may be in the same boat. So, you know, let's hope not, but it is what it is. All right, so Michael and Tokyo, they're out there, they're getting ready, they're fighting, and then Ellie, she's like fighting on like the other side of town, but she's like getting attacked, and she starts losing. So like one of the Enders starts shooting like parts off of her mech, and she's like, yo, I need help. So they start heading over there, but Kanata, he hears this and he's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go help, because he was actually closer than everybody else. So he jumps in the rig, he takes the Magus, they go back to the base where he was at, and he jumps in his mech. He tells his Magus to stay there. So he goes out to try and help her, and it's fine. You find out that the reason Kanata cannot like join adventure which is the defense force, because he actually took the test to do it, and he got like the lowest score. But Ellie doesn't know that. But he still decides, like, you know, it's a life or death situation. I'm gonna jump into Magus. I'm gonna go try and help Ellie. So he like jumps in his coffin, and he's like, he shows up and he's like, yeah, I'm here to help. But when he like comes around, he completely sucks. So he starts shooting. He's not hitting anything, you know. And then he's about to be overtaken. But then that's when his Magus basically comes in and merges with his mech, because there's like a mech. There's like a coffin Magus relationship where they merge and then they become like a unit. So this Ellie, it merges with Kanata's mech, and then it gives her the designation Noir. So her name is Noir, thus Sinduality Noir. I guess. I don't know. All right, so then once she gets in, she takes control of the mech, and then she just turns like into a badass. So she can't do anything, but when she gets in that mech and it's time to fight, her skills just go like to 10,000, way past where he's at. So she's like dodging attacks, and then she goes and she like kills like the leader of the enemies, the creatures that are attacking. So after she kills that, then Tokyo, and I think just Tokyo shows up, and then he like, you know, wipes out everything else. And then, you know, the episode basically ends with, you know, Kanata naming her Noir. You know what I mean? My thoughts on the episode. The concept is actually pretty dope. I love mechs. The mech designs, they're a little bit more like, they're like fatter. They're like smaller. I'm not the biggest fan of the designs, but I think because like other shows like Mobile Suit Gundam or like stuff like that, like a lot of the other mechs, they are of a different design. So I think this was a way to make a design that was different from like what other people are doing, and still like you could recognize, because these mechs that you see, you could recognize them when I see those mechs, and because they're like built like Robotnik, if anybody ever played Sonic 3. So they have like that big bulky, like that egg shape, and then like the arms and the legs, you know what I mean, something like that. It's not like the Mobile Suit Gundam mechs. Like those are like, you know, full body, you know, proportioned well. Like these are proportioned more in like a fat man kind of thing. But you know what I mean, overall, drawing me in. I really like the concept. Post-apocalyptic anything usually will get me, and just like introducing like what's going on, I think they did a pretty good job. I know in the subsequent episodes, which I had watched a few, they give you more information, and they do it, you know, they give the backstory on a couple characters and stuff like that were introduced. So definitely this is one to keep an eye out. I really enjoyed this episode. I think for starting episode, I give it probably about I would say about an 8 out of 10. I think it was started off really strong, and based on like the couple of episodes I've seen before, I would say like it's heading in a good direction. So it would be like, the only thing that would bring it down would be if it falls off. And from what I've seen so far, you know, they're doing a real good job. So, you know what I mean? For anybody who's still here, guys, I'm going to be doing probably the rest of the season. So probably do like 2 episodes of this a week so we can catch up, because they're already at episode 5, and I think episode 6 will be dropping probably in a couple of days. So I'm going to try and do episode 2 and 3. If I can do 2, 3, and 4, I will, but I'll probably just end up doing episode 2 and 3 in the next video, and I'll do 4 and 5, and then that way when 6 drops, it'll just be like a day or so after it's dropped where I can give the review. You know, probably I'm going to try and give my reviews for anything that I'm doing new for Mondays. So I'll watch it Saturday, do my reviews Sunday, and then put it out for Monday, which is what I'm planning on doing. So show some love, man. You know what I mean? New thing I'm trying to give you guys some different type of content, you know what I mean? Trying to be a network, trying to see what I could do. So this is a little bit more scripted. Yeah, so show love, man. It's your boy Black Trey from your network, your anime, your gaming, all that. We do everything, man. Holla at me.